Hey, Ranger fans, we're here with head coach Matt Walter. Coach, especially the day after signing day, nowadays with social media and everything else, it seems like recruiting is a little bit of a season all its own. And I know you've got to be excited to finally get it over with and get this class signed, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is. It's the guys that, pretty much if you follow us on social media, or anyone for that fact, everything's out there already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody puts things out as soon as they get it, and I just want to give an overview of the class that we signed here, our fourth class as a staff, since coming here in 2015, and very, very excited about this class. You know, as a staff, the new additions to our team, our staff really scoured the state of Oklahoma and the rest of the country to find the best athletes possible to fit what we needed with our culture and our schemes. The athletes that we signed will provide, we think, an immediate impact and definitely some depth to our roster, high intelligence athletes, character, athleticism to our school and our team. We went into this recruiting class really looking for immediate impacts at receiver, defensive back, and defensive line. We also wanted to add some depth at some other positions, obviously, throughout our team, and I think that this class is the deepest we've had since we've been here, and the most talented. You know, obviously the classes we've signed before have built the foundation for what we're doing now, but we really think this 2018 class really put it over the top. So very excited, very, very excited.
Good. Well, you mentioned scouring the nation. There's a lot of different guys from all over the nation. Where are some of the different states that Ranger football coaches went out and brought some athletes to come here to Alva and talk a little bit about those guys and what you feel like they're going to bring to the table as far as from an athletic standpoint?
Well, we definitely recruited Oklahoma heavy. We think we had signed 14 athletes from Oklahoma. Also, Texas, we signed 26 from Texas. Florida, we signed 9 from Florida. And then one from Arkansas, one from Kansas, one from Nevada, one from California. And, I think that those athletes are really going to help us out. So we hit the country. We use it through contacts, and recruiting nowadays, it's, through contacts with through players that you've already got from other places. Steven Shin, the DB we signed from California, one of his ex-teammates is D lineman for us, Ryan Willingham, and their head coach played for me back at Emporia State a few years ago. So there's that connection there. And then in Florida, we had three coaches on our staff from Florida, so it helps us get into that state where it's rich talent, and there's not a lot of D2 teams in Florida, so that really helped us out. And then Texas, of course, Texas being my home state, and having a lot of connections from former Rangers that have gone down there and become coaches has really helped out in the recruiting process. And then, of course, you got to talk about your home state. You got to really, really look at your home state and see the guys that really fit Alva, fit what you're doing culture-wise, and that's one thing we got to look at. And when we go out recruiting, we really look for guys that can fit in Alva. Alva's different. It's a very unique and special place, and to be here, you gotta really love it. You gotta really love football, and you gotta really feel that family atmosphere that it takes to be here. So, and we think we did that. Now, we did sign a relatively large class, and we're probably going to do that pretty much every year. Big classes aren't a problem for us. That's kind of what we want, and our philosophy is, recruit a lot of really good players. And we've been able to do that. The way we can recruit, the way that our administration supports us and our numbers really helps us out. So.
Good. You mentioned a few positions that you feel like could contribute right away. From a schematic standpoint, what are some of the things that these guys are going to bring to the table that maybe is a little bit different than Rangers in the last few years and the last few recruiting classes that the staff has brought in?
Well, we really wanted to focus on length at different positions, especially at wide receiver. We went out and got a bunch of long, athletic wide receivers to really help out the core group that we already have. I want to talk about each and every kid that would take us, to be out here for 2 hours. I don't want to do that. So, but you can look up each kid. They're on the website now. They're on our Twitter feed. So we're constantly pumping that out. But we really want to add length, and I think we did that. We have some really long, tall receivers that we think can play right away and help us out right away.
Good. Coach, what's your overall, when you think about recruiting, there's a lot of different pieces that go into it that people just that fans don't think about. What is kind of the timeline that the coaches go through and the coaching staff as a whole goes through when you first make contact with these guys to yesterday when they sign, as far as official visits, being out on the road, watching them play games?
Well, I mean, it's really year-round now. I mean, as soon as Saturday's over, now we're starting the 2019 class. We've already gathered prospects from each school that we typically recruit for the 2019 prospects and started putting that together already. But now 2019, we're starting to evaluate those guys. In May, we'll go out and we'll go to the schools again and visit with the coaches about their 2019 prospects in May. And then, during the summer camps all summer, either we're having camps or we're involved with camps or we're going to camps we can see these kids. A lot of our signees were from our football camps that we have, throughout the state of Texas and Oklahoma, which is great. But then as soon as the summer's over, you get in the season, now you're going to the kids' games on Friday nights when you can make them, especially the local games. And that really helps us out, getting local talent. We signed 3 Chisholm kids. We signed the Alva kid, Davion Murrow, which we're very excited about getting him. He was an all-state player, very, very explosive. I believe, I don't want to be misquoting, but I believe he was the district player of the year for their district. And then, the 3 Chisholm kids we're very, very excited about. And London McKee, Devin Fulgham, and Carter Shepard, getting them here was really big for us to get that local talent that we had been watching. And back to watching their games in the fall, we've seen them play several times. We know what they're about. We know what they can do. We know that once they get here, they'll be able to fit in right away. And that's the thing that you really look for when you're going and scouting them in those games, is you're looking for how they act on the sidelines, how they act during the, when things aren't exactly going their way, how they respond to success. And then after that, you get into your true recruiting cycle, you get into your visits down, having the kids come up on visits, which is, I think we had 1 in December, we had 5 here in January, so, you have 6 visits, official visits where you're bringing them up. And, that's it's a year-round deal now. It's a year-round deal, and then you just start it over, start the cycle over. We'll also have junior day around our spring game this year. We've been doing that every year, and that helps getting kids to our campus, because a lot of, being where we're at, geographically, a lot of the kids that we're looking at have never seen Alva. They've never been up here. And so getting them up here on junior day is huge. One of the old linemen we signed from Humble, which is, I'd have to see the high school down in Humble. He had been up here for junior day, so he had already known. Aaron Green, the quarterback we signed from Austin, Texas, he had already been up here and he came up here on junior day. So he kind of knew what it was about before he even got here, which is huge for us. So it is truly a year-round deal.
Yeah, well, Coach, you mentioned a little bit earlier, but I'd like to make a point. The majority of this class is going to come from Texas, and you mentioned that that's your home state, and you're very familiar with the high schools around that area. And one of the things that caught my eye as far as looking through social media is not just the quality of players, but the quality of programs that these players come from. You look down the list, Cal Allen High School, which is a traditional power, Kennedale High School, which is a traditional power. We'll talk about just the mindset and the attitude of these guys. You mentioned a lot fitting into a winning culture up here, and they're used to it from already during their high school days, and how important that is when you look at recruiting.
Yeah, it's definitely not a rule, but it's definitely a standard you want to look for when you're recruiting a kid and you're evaluating them. How many games has he won in high school? Is he used to winning? Does he know how to win? And again, that's definitely not the rule, because I had a great player at Emporia by the name of Brent Wilson, which set all kinds of records, and he didn't exactly win a lot in high school, but he sure won a lot in college. So it's, again, not the rule, it's an exception. Or it's not the rule, but it's definitely something we want to look at when we're evaluating who's winning. And Kennedale made that state title run this year. They lost the state championship game, but definitely had a great year, and getting Ox out of there, that big tight end was big for us. And again, going down to Texas is big for us, because those kids a lot of times can play right away. Or they're able to play a lot quicker. They're developed pretty quickly, and their ceiling may not be as high as a kid that's a little bit underdeveloped, but that's why you want to balance both. You want to have a good group of both. We played 10 freshmen last year, true freshmen, and it's not that we had to play them. We played them because they were the better players. And, that's our job. That's our job, to get the best players on the field. And we tell our current players all the time, hey, we're recruiting to replace you. It's your job to keep your job. We wouldn't be doing our job if we're not recruiting players to replace you. And that's the game of recruiting, and that is a definite big factor of it. Traditional Tigers of Tascasita, they went real far in the playoffs. Cal Allen's always a winner, like you said. A lot of these kids came from, if not state championship programs, deep runs in the playoffs, so they're used to playing a longer season as well. Because once you get to college, it's a longer season, and you want to have guys that are used to playing that, 12, 13, 14 game season. So that when you get into our playoffs and you're playing, up to week 16, if you're playing national championship, you're playing 16 games. So that's huge for us, and that's what we're trying to build.
Good. Well, Coach, like you said, it's a year-long process, and I know you're very happy and pleased with this class, and now it's time to get going with the class 2019. But before then, we've got spring football, and then coming up in the fall, we'll get back on the field for the 2018 version of the Rangers. So appreciate your time. Thank you, and congratulations on this class.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.